What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. And what I need you guys to do real quick, because this is gonna be crazy. We may have to there's no way to message people on. All right, this just gives me more motivation to get everything fucking together even more. So we got to get the website back up. We got to get our get an email list going. It's a lot of things that we got to get going, but the biggest thing is Discord. Oh shit, I guess I could. I do have the Discord. The Discord has over 1,000, 2,000 people in it actively, but it's an FSU Discord mostly, and it's still going. Fifth quarter still going. It would just require me to put more. I'm gonna ponder how I can use this. Use this evil powers for good. But anyways, like what I was saying is I need y'all to just go ahead and just, I guess y'all motherfuckers don't be listening anyway. Just go tell the people Twitter's not working. So you need something else to do. This is why I want to get to YouTube. This is why I did say if I ever got banned from Twitter again, I'm never creating another Twitter account. I was like, I will just live in my Discord and then I found out that YouTube has a community, which is basically Facebook and Twitter just on YouTube. So we got to this just gives us some more, because Elon is an evil genius. That's necessary. But this is why you got to focus on what you're good at. You know how people say don't quit your day jobs, right? Elon over here making people believe that we're getting imaginary deals or like cutting government spending, which he's not. Like, if you really look at it, those contracts were already paid. So he didn't cut anything. Like, the shit's already spent. Like, it may not get paid next year. That's the thought. But he's also shifting that money to contracts for himself. So it's good business on his part. Terrible business for us as the people, but good business on his part. But like, if he would just focus on fucking Twitter, we wouldn't have all of this shit. Or if the guys who started Twitter, what's the thing called? Butterfly Social or some shit like that? They created a new Twitter. Oh, really? The people from Twitter created new Twitter, which looks like old Twitter. But through the beginning processes, except for you can't text message your tweets. But like, anyways, man, I guess we could go and get the Facebook page back working, but nobody uses the Facebook. That is true. That is true. Which is why during football season we do our film breakdowns. Wow. You're right. I never even thought, but the only problem is when I stream it, you only get 20 people on the video, right? You could change the max, but I forget what it is. You can get definitely more. Because I remember using video in the beginning, like when it first started with Discord. Like, the craziest part about Discord is everybody's telling me about Discord now, and I'm like Trey's like, Dad, have you heard about Discord? Like, son, your dad has like a very I got it down. I would have to re-download it. Like the fifth quarter Discord is insane, and like how they've utilized it and done it. But it's just like I don't know how to do this shit. I just know how to maximize it. So it's kind of like, we may have to go and figure out. I do have the nerd that can figure out all of that shit, but I do have the website with the capability to be able to do a lot of shit for both my nonprofit and my and Did Media Group. But anyways, outside of that, I'm at Big Game James _36. If you are not aware of this, please tell your friends to tell a friend to just click the link, let it play in the background, and maybe comment every now and then. Helps the algorithm. We have a good show today. Don't know how we're going to do the show, but that's why Jaden's smart and got the fresh mind, because he's got to figure out, because the whole show be laid out through Twitter, man. It is the greatest quick way to get stuff. With Elon fucking up shit, it kind of messes me up. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna hold you. But before we get into this, we're inside of Alpha Clinic on. I mean, not inside. We're in. This is presented to you by AlphaClinicOnline.com. AlphaClinicOnline.com is the go-to website for all things performance enhancement. Whether you're a male or a female, you want to ooze sexiness, you want to do this. I got to show you your nephew's TikTok too, by the way. I had to get on them yesterday. I had to. I guess this will be my answer because my weekend. This is the first weekend I haven't done shit in a while. And by the way, Jay, what is it? Ham Fam Production. What's your? That's the or is it your real? Jaden has a life that I want to live. On his IG, like I'm sitting there and forgot I'm on the same trip, but like I'm like damn, man, Jaden looked like he just had way more fun, like did way more shit than what I did, and we was in everything together. Like, but I didn't do anything this weekend, and it was glorious. I sat, I had my coffee, I sat in the chair in the living room, and I kind of just read a little bit, looked at some news, and just silence and darkness. And Trey was in his room, and it was beautiful. We bonded through nothingness. I tried to take him to go get a steak. He didn't want to get a steak on Saturday. He did his track meet, but then I found out I had to discipline him or reprimand him. I didn't discipline him, but Trey, I'm not a naive parent. I cussed when I was in middle school, but you know who I didn't cuss around? My parents. And you know what? I was smarter. We didn't have social media, so I was smart enough to not record myself cursing on social media. So I had to say, hey, man, listen, I'm not mad at you. I actually appreciate a couple of them where he tried to say, oh, or like when you're trying to, but I know what you mean by that. And as my grandmother said, you're going to get punished. Like a sin is a sin. Don't halfway sin. Get your money's worth. So if you want to, like, I know what you fucking mean. And I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I said, but hey, don't be in a rush to be grown. Like, slow it down. I don't mind the content. Make it content appropriate. Like, you can say things, like, learn how to say things without saying them. Young kids gonna make a lot of money cursing. Right. Like, it just makes you look like, so two things are going to happen. The old curmudgeon is going to be like, or the parents aren't going to let them look at your content anyway. Right. So like, because they don't want you to be a bad influence, which is not. It's all wholesome. One of the things was funny. It was just like, you know, I'm a old. He's like, look at me. You know, I'm a pretty old, handsome, chocolatey motherfucker. I said, you goddamn. I said, boy, you goddamn right. And then I wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Did he say he a chocolatey motherfucker? I said, hey, come here, son. I said, hey, everything was cool. You could have said mofo. You could have left out the motherfucker, but you goddamn right you were all handsome, smelling good, chocolatey motherfucker. You right. But it was just some stuff like that. And then he's got, boy, let me tell you, shit. I told his mother when he was young, she's like, I said, just wait. Just wait. A girl, he gonna get a kiss or some girl gonna do something. And then all of a sudden, he gonna do a complete 180. He gonna start asking about cologne. He gonna we ain't gonna have to force him to wear deodorant. He gonna comb his hair. I said, I promise you. And then one day, he's gonna get really, really good and realize that none of that shit matters. And he's gonna go revert back. Hey, have you heard the Dennis Rodman? Them talking about Dennis Rodman? Like why Shaq hated Dennis Rodman? Like he stunk. Yeah, he would leave the basketball game, don't take a shower, straight to the club, smelling like a slave in the field.
He looks stank.
And pull all the baddest bitches from the club. Just as stank as he wanted to be. And Shaq is like, meanwhile, Shaq like, man, I'm over here doing all this other work. But you know, that's how it reversed too. But it was funny reprimanding him for that. But also, while I was getting my coffee and snooping on my son's TikTok, and he does it because, again, this is where I always tell. This is why you got to get good parenting, and everybody has to know their role. And I tell women all the time, stop overinflating the things that you do. It's nothing wrong. You're there. Everything you do is 100% important. The nurturing aspect is true. Don't think because you do that and you have to let everybody know and it's being seen that the things that are unseen are that are unheard or not valued. So like what a man does is this. Trey's IG account is directly tied to his father. Guess which ones look vastly different? You know what Trey don't have on IG? He don't have I'm an old chocolatey motherfucker on IG. He don't have that because he knows, oh shit, at any given point, my dad probably will check this and he will probably punch me in my chest. There is always a fear, a threat of violence because there's consequence. And you got, and again, it's not bad. You just got to make sure you're consistent with it. Whereas TikTok, I don't even really, Jaden runs we have a Den Media Group TikTok, right? So make sure y'all check out the Den Media Group TikTok. I have a TikTok. I just don't use it. When Trump told me it was getting shut down, you know what I didn't? I said, bump it. Fuck it. I don't really know how to use this shit anyway. I was just taking my reels from IG and posting them on TikTok. I may try to get back active again. Don't really know. It's just too much. It's too much out here. I guess, but they say that's fun. But if they're going to shut it down, they're going to shut it down. The Chinese already have all my information. I have a passport. I have TSA pre-check and clear. It doesn't fucking matter. Like if they want to hack me, they're going to hack me. They're going to find out it's very boring. But when I was looking through when I got the information, I was snooping. I'm going to tell you guys, and I need help here. I've told a couple people this story. You guys can help me, Miles and Jaden, because you're in the younger generation, so y'all handle things a little bit differently. Miles, you can help me. You're just below me, but so everybody, I go to Starbucks, and I know everybody at Starbucks. I go to the same Starbucks every day, right? I have they know my order, and I went there and I got my Grande Nitro Cobra, but I switched it up. I got a lemon loaf, iced lemon loaf, and then I said, now there's a couple gays. They're gay. I know that. Well, one's a twink or a fairy. I don't know what he is. He's not a transmission, but he kind of dresses womanly and he talks womanly. And I'll get to that. Then there's the I don't know if he's Spanish or if he's gay, but he's chunky and jolly. I know that. And then there's Polly Pocket Asian version. And then there's like a couple other different ones. Like they always take my order. So I hear this, hello, how are you doing? Welcome to Starbucks. It is very feminine, but it sounds like a husky female. But I'm not sure yet. I'm like, is that the twink? So I don't know. Don't know. I don't know. Cool, whatever. I'm an ally, so I don't care about this. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm an ally. So, and they're like, and I don't say anything. They're like, is this my friend James? And I'm like, whoa, my friend? Like, real familiar. I don't know who is this person, this mystery person. And so I, get there. They say, would you like your 3 Trenta ice waters? I'm like, well, yes, I would. Thank you. And I drive up and I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, is this a twink? I was like, but you never see the person at Starbucks that takes your order. The person that gives you your order is different than the person that takes your order at my Starbucks. So that's where the Polly Pocket Asian edition comes in. And she's asking too many questions, getting too familiar with the conversation before I had a sip of coffee. She's over here. It was funny because she's telling me all about her life. She said, what you going to do? It's pouring down rain yesterday. So I'm probably just going to get my coffee, go home, go back to sleep. I know that makes no sense, but I was tired. I'm bored. There was nothing to do at home, so you sleep. She goes and then she's like, oh, well, I have to work my other job at PF Chang's. I'm like, of course. Of course. Like, I didn't need to know that, but now that you are you inviting me to PF Chang's? Everybody's super friendly. So she hands me my drinks, and then I get my drinks, and I'm waiting on my iced lemon loaf because I paid $4.25 for a pound cake that's not anywhere near as good as my family's pound cake. But she's like, oh, your iced lemon loaf, and she hands it to me, and the twink is behind her. And do you know what this dude did to me? What? He winked at me. Really? So I believe I was sexually insulted. I don't know how to do that, but what is a wink? What is a yeah? Because it's not. I wasn't. I was told I wasn't. I said I called my friend. Said I was sexually assaulted. She's like, nobody grabbed you. She's like, you weren't assaulted. I said, well, I was insulted. It's sexually insulted because let's be for real. Harassment it's only harassment if you don't like it. I mean, so if you like it, it's cool. But what if you're indifferent? I've never had a man wink at me before. Yeah, that takes like it was a long wink. She was like what the fuck are we doing here? I don't want to get him fired because he was there this morning. It was weird. I didn't want to look at him. He winked at me yesterday. He assaulted my eyes. So but I'll say this, and this is where I guess women, I guess I can see how my coffee was filled up all the way to the top. I just want to see. So while I was insulted, the surface was A1, man. Like the surface was top tier, man. Like, I mean, so like I was like, I don't know, but I couldn't look at him because I was afraid. But he a fat, you goddamn right. He a fack. Because he's white. It was a double. The Umar in me was mad. And then I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. This is crazy, but that's the craziness. That was the crazy story that happened to me yesterday. But when I went by there today, I just couldn't look that way. I couldn't look to the left because I was afraid. I didn't want to be winked at again. So it was made me nervous. But anyway, so on that note, I found out. Now I guess that's how women feel when studs holler at them or whatever. Like it just got to be weird. But then again, studs getting pregnant every day, so I don't know how that works. But what we got going on for the show today, Jaden?
All right.
We didn't get banned yet, so nothing I said was that bad. So is twink the right word? Because what would somebody be? It could not be the right word. Fairy? That's probably worse. He's not a transmission. But he's not gay. Oh, he's not. I mean, he's gay, but I'm just saying he's not your traditional gay guy. When I say twink or fairy, if you go to Starbucks right now in Bay Meadows and you go and you look at it, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about when you go back there. If I say gay, you would be thrown off. Yeah, like all of them, actually, you probably could think all of them were gay. But when I say that, you're like, oh, that's who he was talking about. It's a good worker, though. All right, what we got?
All right, good morning, y'all. Monday, March 10th. We're going to cover the good, the bad, and all the BS in sports here at Big Games B.S., presented by their media group. So first, got some men's basketball news hailing from FSU. We got a new head coach, so excited to talk about that. Then we got two quick clips of Keon Coleman, FSU alum, wide receiver on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, Carmelo Anthony's YouTube/podcast. Got some funny clips of him. Then staying in the college world, Eddie George, huge shout out, 1995 Heisman winner, is now the new head coach of Bowling Green in Ohio, going back to Ohio, previously playing for the Buckeyes where he won the Heisman. Staying in college, we're going to talk a little bit about basketball. Cooper Flagg is carrying his team, and then we're going to go to the NFL. There's a lot of trades, a lot of releases that happen, so we're going to get to some of the important ones, break down the money, and we're going to get into some of our players that we want to see, some of the more noticeable buzzworthy players, and we have a lot of those as well. And then we're going to finish out our show with the Big Games BS segment. The basketball world has a lot of buzz right now, especially with the commentator/player relationship, Stephen A. LeBron, and now Kevin Durant and Skip Bayless. So the Avengers are piling up. And then we got Draymond's response to the Karl-Anthony Towns situation, why he missed their game against the Warriors and the death involved in his circle. And then we got LeBron flopping again. And then we got a funny Angel Reese little quick video because she's been getting a lot of flack on IG. And then huge shout out to Amen Thompson, wishing for a speedy recovery. The worst possible scenario happened to him. And then we have a track meet turned into a UFC brawl. So first things first, let's get into FSU's new head coach for the men's basketball team. Let me share this with you all. Perfect. So right here, Florida State hires Luke Laux to a 5-year deal as a new Florida State men's basketball coach as Leonard Hamilton has stepped down. Leonard Hamilton had his last home game of his FSU career, beating SMU. So he ended off his career with a W. But Luke Laux has a lot of backstory and a lot of memories here at FSU. So before we get into that, let's just give you a little background. So his first job in the NBA was a video coordinator and player development coach at Golden State in 2016. Spent 5 seasons there, and he won 2 championships. He then spent 2 seasons with the Suns before moving to the Kings for the past 3 years. So he played under Leonard Hamilton from 2008 to 2012. His dad was a walk-on under Bobby Bowden on the football team, and his younger sister attended the university as well. He described Hamilton as a father figure in his life. He played an important role. Luke Laux had one of the important assists in their win against Duke. If you guys seen that clip, I'm pretty sure that was a team where Austin Rivers was on. Luke Laux made that pass to the corner three to win them the game. And his wife as well, Stevie, swam for the Seminoles. And when he got the job offer, Lauk said his wife and their parents all cried as they rejoiced in their homecoming. They touched down in Tallahassee yesterday on the PJ, and they were met with fans and some admin. And his wife Stevie was tearing up as well. And he just said it felt like great to be back home again. So James, what do you think about Laux getting this job, man? As you see, as Leonard Hamilton's resigning, obviously a great career at FSU, but we got an alumnus, so I can't be too mad about that. And what news have you heard about Laux recently?
I mean, he's like they talk very, very highly of him where he's at right now. I think it was De'Aaron Fox was they had him interviewed just speaking about how I miss him, and it was one thing that he said that was very interesting. And if this happens, these are the things that grow your program exponentially, right? Fox was like, I know where I gotta make sure I check into Florida during the offseason. So if you've got a guy like that, a pro that, again, I don't watch basketball, but I bet he's a guy that's constantly on the parlays that I put on. Like that's a guy that, can help you with recruiting, help you with that. And I guess what we're trying to do and what a lot of teams are going to probably start trying to do is take a pro mindset to college sports, which is what you should have been doing anyway. It's like, all right, how do I get these guys? Once you're in the NBA, obviously you have connections, right? You know pro scouts, you know what an NBA team is looking for. So when you go to a parent's living room, you can go and say, hey, this is X, Y, and Z. This is where I see your son. I obviously I coach for two world champions with the Golden Skinned Warriors. I'm in a great organization out west. I know everything about this game, and I'm young, and so like where I would have actually liked Sam Cassell because of but I can't say I like Sam Cassell, right? Because of the well, actually I can. Actually, the thing that he did, Sam Cassell does have over him is that he did actually play pro. I like the youth. At 34 years old, I know that if he can fix this and turn it around and get them some momentum, I do know that this is a 10, 15-year coach that you have for him, which creates stability in your program, which helps with fundraising, which helps to renovate things that we need. Like everybody tells me, even though I don't know what it looks like in comparison, but everybody tells me the Tuck needs to be better. But this can help you with that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the way that the education is going right now, you need athletics. You need athletics. What 4-7 is doing right now, again, not trying to make this political at all, but they're taking away funding, research-based funding, because of the diversity and a lot of the different things, and they're affecting people's stuff. That's how colleges make money. So now, more than anything, you need more money to be able to come into your sports programs. But bigger than that, with the new ACC, we didn't talk about it. We have the thing where we talked about the ACC deal, but we never really talked about it on the show. But you want to be top 5 in the conference. We did. we didn't talk about it in depth. We talked about the top 5 in conference part. Okay, well, my bad. Huh? Yeah. So basically, and you know what the two sports that are going to make sure you're in that are football and basketball. Now, luckily, our softball is so good, and our baseball is so good, and our soccer is so good that it will keep us in the top 2. So, but we need basketball on par. And I just wasn't. I'm also not ready for another brother to come take the helm. And it's not that I don't want a brother to take the helm. I just know what happens when brothers start. If he not winning immediately, they're gonna start saying DEI hire. They're gonna start saying shit. Basically, they're gonna start saying we should have never hired this nigga. It's really what you want to say. I have more respect when you just say it. Don't say, because the resumes are real. Both the resumes were good, but I can't hate on Luke. And also Luke has the. Can you go back home? We'll see. It'd be great if he actually does his thing, and got the wife in there, the family. Like, shout out to him, man. I can't wait to see it work. Hope it works, but yeah.
So I think Twitter's back up right now, so we're gonna have some quick clips from the men's basketball program. So the first clip we have is Leonard Hamilton being honored at
Try to
the
see if we can get it back on. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. See if we can
on the Twitter.
get the show on the Twitter.
We have just a quick clip of Leonard Hamilton getting recognized for his time at FSU. So we're gonna share this with you all. Let us know what you think. And man, just a lot of memories being commemorated here. And it was just great to see Hamilton being recognized by our university like this in this manner. So hope you guys enjoyed this quick video.
Coach Hamilton, tonight we celebrate you, a legend, a coach who transformed lives, built champions, and inspired generations.
A man who gave everything to the game and to us.
Your legacy is more than just wins and losses.
It's in the lessons you taught, the character you instilled, and the family you built.
You showed us what it means to work relentlessly, to push through every challenge, and to always have the heart of a champion.
Through every season, every game, your presence was felt.
Your wisdom shaped us, your leadership guided us, your dedication inspired us all to be better.
Not just as players, but as people.
As you step away from the head coach role, we know that your influence will remain deeply woven into the fabric of this program. Your mark will never fade, and your legacy will continue to guide us all.
Coach, your impact will live on in every player, every coach, and every fan.
Your legacy is forever etched into the history of FSU basketball.
Thank you, Coach Leonard Hamilton.
Your influence will continue to shape this program.
And we are forever grateful for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Here's Forrest on the drive. Ties the game with 8 seconds left. Down the court, Luke Louch. Luke Louch with 2 seconds. Shoves the ball. Jump shot, Stair. Good shot. Knowles win. Knowles win. Michael Stair's triple with no time left. Florida State beats Duke 76-73.
Mic check. Mic check. All right, we good. Well, I was a hater because like we've had a basketball only facility since 2003, 2004. I just want to put that in perspective. We're just now getting a football only facility and it'll be open in 2025. Basketball had its own area. The only thing basketball came over to the Moore for was to eat. But they had their own basketball gym, like all ducked off right by the tuck, built in weight room, training room, locker room, all of that shit right over there at the tuck. Meanwhile, football like doesn't have any of that shit. So it was interesting. But part of it, they did that so that the football could have more room at the Moore, but it still didn't make any sense. But because I remember they did the renovations of the Moore right before I came to Florida State. The Moore was done in 2003, was redone in 2003. But before that, they had basketball team would practice there or at Tully. It was just crazy, the shit that went on there. But like, I just thought when they built that, you should have more wins. But Ham made that run. Was it 2012? Locks was on that 2012 team that won the ACC tournament. Then they won the regular season ACC, which I think that was the year we probably would have. I think that's the year we probably would have won it all. Or no, when we won the ACC, was that 2020 right before the world shut down? They robbed Ham of a natty. I really believe that. We should hang that banner. We should pull a UCF with basketball. But kudos to him. Now he has all the time to do all the shit that he's lying that he says is the reason why he retired, which, hey man, the best get fired, dog. Players fuck up. He still got that little ass plane. I mean, that's dangerous if you fly in that kind of weather, man. You know what? Pause this real quick. Roll that shit back. I'm telling you right now, Dave. Oh, that's all cool. Man, you just play it. I'm telling you, Dr. Platt. I want the band Marching Chiefs for a day. And I need them. We need to find some that go to summer school. I want to tell them, I don't gotta have a whole band. I'll be in Tallahassee. We're already doing the plans for my 6th annual book bag drive and food distribution. I want the Chiefs playing the fight song where I go into places. I want to walk around Tallahassee for a day, and before I go in that place, the Chiefs are in there and they're playing my intro music. Kanye, before he went crazy, said every superhero needs his theme music. I want my goddamn theme music, Doc. I don't know how we figured this out. Tell me if they need some bread. We'll figure it out. I think it'll be great for video, great audio. But anyway, so that's that. Cool for Luke. Cool situation. Shout out to Mike Alford. Continuing to make decisions to be able to try to propel the athletic programs into more fiscal responsibility and making more bread.
Next, we're going to transition into some FSU baseball news while my computer loads here right quick. But y'all, we have some great news coming out of FSU baseball. We are only 1 out of 2 teams that are undefeated in the college baseball world. It's us and Tennessee. Let me share this with you all. Oh, I gotta remove that. Let me share this with you all. So right here, Tennessee, Florida State are the only 2 undefeated teams left in baseball. Tennessee 16-0, Florida State 15-0 as well. We're on a tear right now. Super excited to see how well our season does, especially when it comes playoff time. And yeah, so our last win was against Lipscomb, 11-5. So we've been, like I said, undefeated, doing our thing. Haven't got a
They've been whipping
chance.
ass too.
Yeah. Yeah. Haven't got a chance to catch a baseball game, but I will definitely in the near future, hopefully go to one in person as well. But
You want to go to the one here?
when is
They
that?
play UF.
They play here?
Yeah, they always play. They played 3 games, one at UF, one at home, and then they always play at the baseball grounds.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. That sounds dope. Yeah. But huge shout out to the baseball team. Keep doing y'all thing. Keep staying undefeated. And yeah, man. So we're gonna transition into a little some funny
Real
clips.
quick, though, everybody hates the transfer portal, right? That's what everybody says. Transfer portal is ruining athletics. You know how FSU baseball did a 180? Link ass went in the motherfucking transfer portal. He recruited his ass off too, but he went in the fucking transfer portal. We got arms. We didn't have arms the last couple of years. We finally got some arms. And shout out to Link. You know why Link is great. And this is where I keep trying to tell Florida State football. We can get back on the greatness with recruiting. You have to go you have to go back to Florida High. Link went to Florida High, played baseball at Florida State, and then that's where all his greatness was developed. They need to go ahead, pay me $250,000. Let me do what I do over here in Jacksonville, or $500,000 to come back home, and we won't have any problems with recruiting. I can promise you that. Recruiting is about relationships, even with the money involved. All right.
So we got an NIL segment for you all. Knowles in the league. Keon Coleman was featured as a guest on the Carmelo Anthony podcast / YouTube show, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. And he was there discussing the Buffalo travel difficulties and how he would like to change the combine. So we're going to share this with you all. Please enjoy these clips of Keon cutting up on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn.
The NFL Players Association released its 3rd annual report called Your Buffalo Bills, Keon. Lowest grade was an F- for team travel.
They got travel and snow and all that. That's nasty.
Nasty ain't the word.
NFL travel is so different from NBA travel.
You only got 15 people on a big plane. Y'all could take family. We ain't doing all that. I think it might be maybe about 8 people first class. Everybody else is about the 40s. Regular economy. The plane don't even be crazy. It's just you go to LA at 75. Oh, you feeling yourself. You forget. You got to come back to Buffalo at 20. You like, shit. It's snowing out there. You got to sit in the parking lot like this.
The automatic starter don't even work.
But you still got to wait a couple minutes to warm it up.
Get the fuck out of here. Professional sports teams should spare no expense when it comes to travel.
I with it. We should spend more. We need like 40 first class seats. We need to play Kevin Hart had what that was, soul plane.
Yeah. I thought every NFL team had a team plane, nah?
This ain't the NBA, bro. I don't know about all that. Our owner got his own plane. It might say Bills on it, but everybody can't fit on that.
See, that's what I thought. I always thought the planes with the logo on it.
That's only for you and when they gotta go recruit you.
I got to fly there one time.
One time from the combine, right?
No. When I got drafted, they flew me up there. And my people was on that jet. I act a fool. Oh, I was like, what? I ain't never flown a jet after that, but hey, one time was enough for me.
I swear he might be. Man, that might be my son. One, nobody gets more excited about snacks than Keon Coleman. Second, I don't care if you, because one of the first, I'm sure in the comments somewhere is somebody probably put English, please, because he's very, very, very Louisiana in his dialect. But like the man said the truth, and he also broke it down in a manner in which they could get. He's like, this ain't the NBA where it's only 15 of y'all. Private, like they take a plane and they buy it and they kind of revamped it. The Patriots did, but the Patriots hate it because the owner got one of them 1980s planes. They still got the. Oh man, that's crazy.
I thought they all were on
the eight. No.
And then economy.
Well, they charter a plane, so this is how we travel to college because you're flying over 100 people. There is no good way to get unless you get one of the planes that fly overseas. Like I'm trying to think of the name of those things. it's not a bus, super bus. It's an aero bus. That's what they call them. So like they're bigger, they're split level. There's a lot of other different things that go into it, but those are really, really expensive. And fuel is really the biggest cost to get that motherfucker up there. But like, and if we're being honest, I've been flying a lot the last 5-6 years. You can set your ass down somewhere for 5 hours and be okay. Yeah. But in the way that they're flying, it's not. There is no middle row. So it's every other, like, so even when you're in the economy part, you've got that middle seat is free for you, like for you and you're not fighting over elbow room. It's just the football. Well, but in the back, like I'm gonna tell you from especially a college perspective. Now the key, the people who pay for the plane flight are the boosters, and they're the ones who are actually in the shitty seats, but they're paying for the right to be around the team. And you get fed a lot. You get fed a lot on these planes, and it's a lot of concessions that are made. But yes, when you're 6'5", it's harder for you than when you're 6'5", 300. It's a lot harder for you. But like, but he's right. Like there's more than 8 seats in first class. This is probably, but if you've traveled enough in first class, even the bigger planes are like there's 6 to 7 rows. But it's not as bad. But he was real. The real part is him going from climate to climate and being in a harsh weather climate where you play about after like November, the end of the middle of November to when your season's over, you have no fucking idea what the weather's going to be like. So going from Buffalo, where you're in a blizzard, to Cali, where it's beautiful, and then having to go back to that is wild. Like money. That's how you lure them to Buffalo, is through bread. Like, but he's giving you such a youthful exuberance and just talking about it as it's just so much. It's so funny to hear him discuss it like that. But like, even like, have you seen T-Pain talk about what it's like to get a private jet? Like, that's really what it is. T-Pain's like, why are you flying commercial? He's like, because it costs like $130,000 to go to Las Vegas for the weekend. He's like, and for me to fly private, that's just not conducive to that. So yeah, man. I love it, man. I love hearing Keon talk. If you had to give me the Young Bulls podcast, give me Keon and the wide receiver from Carolina. And I'm sure it would be some wild thing narrated by Jameis Winston. Yeah. It'd be the wildest podcast, the funniest podcast about nothing. But that would be dope. I love Keon.
Did you ever like watching the combine?
Not me. We got linemen out here running the 40 and vertical jumping. When they ever doing that? It's kind of set up to kind of throw you off your P's and Q's so you can mess up. You be out there all day. Team's mad I'm eating fruit snacks. I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm listening. Can I, grab a little fruit snack every now and then? Y'all got all the snacks in here. So that's just for sure. If you ain't gonna drive me over some fruit snacks,
it becomes a headline. It's like, oh man, this is disrespectful.
Disrespectful, yeah.
What team was that?
The biggest ops.
If you could change the combine, how would you change it?
I'd change it from Indianapolis at least. At least put it in Texas, So much pressure already on the kids' shoulders. They be stressing my interviews. They be nervous like it's a pop quiz.
At the combine, they stock is rising. Then they leave the combine, it's like the stock is going low. It's because a lot of times you seeing something that you haven't seen before that you thought you saw on footage. And now you get a chance to see it up close and personal. No, I don't want that no more. You tired as hell. You got to sit up properly.
I was telling
what you want your children to be like. Oh, James, what do you mean? He's not. Be who you are unapologetically and be so good at it that either they're gonna rock with it or they're not. And that is the American way. Again, like I was getting on my son. I wasn't getting on him about cussing. I'm getting on him about being who you are, age appropriate. Like grow that way. Like that's what Keon's doing. Like Keon, like if you don't want to draft me for eating some fruit snacks, then fuck you. Like I tell people this all the time, and they tell me, "Well, James, no, bitch, all right, so I got a good friend. Shout out to my guy Devin Respris. Anybody who's watching the channel, you know Devin Respris is now at Florida State. He is a coach for off of field recruiting, right? There was a couple years ago, he was at FAMU, and they were talking about wearing slides. You should not wear, oh my God, this irks me. Do not wear slides on a recruiting visit. I'm like, what the fuck you want them to wear? Like, you want to wear fucking wear what you want to wear. Be comfortable. That is the number one thing that will get me to not recruit you. I'm like, if I bring Jamie motherfucking French to FAMU in a fucking thong, you know what you gonna do? You gonna recruit the fuck out of that thong wearing motherfucker. He can dress like the twink at Starbucks. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna recruit him because he's a 5 fucking star. Because he's really good at what you're trying to get him to do. Football. Like I don't understand why, that is an antiquated thought process. And what I'm looking at is who's confident enough in themselves to stand out. We try to coach people to do stuff in a world that does not exist anymore. And that is the absolute truth. You don't have to like if you don't believe it, the Social Network is what really threw me off. Is when that man was approving $1 million deals in fucking pajamas. Money, excellence will always move the conversation. Hell, even Wayne, when he put in say approving $1 million deals in my iPhone. Like, I remember all the old heads when I worked at a company called Titus. James, you always on social media. James, you always on this. You know what those same people are asking me now for advice? How do you use social media to get your business? And I'm not ashamed to say it. I think Kez was really well-meaning when he did it. But Kez used to be like, man, you need to get off of that. You need to study. I said, bro, I read all the time. And I'm like, I'm reading now. I'm reading what the people are talking about so that I can know how to reach the people. What better way? It's like you could all be amateur socialists. Not socialists, excuse me. Don't be a socialist at all. You can be what was it? I'm trying to think. Sociologist, excuse me. You can be an amateur sociologist by studying things. There's a reason why when people who say, James, you always stir in the pot. I can make a post on Facebook and know exactly who's going to respond to it. Sometimes I just do it because I'm bored. But I also I put a post out about trying to give 4 pairs of shoes to a kid in need, and like one person will click on it and like it. And nobody will share it. Nobody will do anything else. So, but like it's just I like Dion comes in the 80s and says the Giants wanted him to read a book that was like this thick. A says, where y'all draft at? 5? Oh, I don't need to read that. I won't be there. I won't be there. I won't be like, oh God, he's so arrogant. Bitch, he was fucking good. What good person doesn't have some kind of like trait that's a little to be that good means you have to have the confidence to believe you're that good. It means you're gonna be an asshole at some point. Or he's going to rub people off the wrong way. There's only one person who I don't believe it was like that. And he was really good. If you're looking for something to watch, go watch the I think it's on Netflix, the Barry Sanders documentary. It's amazing. His dad was the asshole that Barry wasn't. But even then, Barry was standoffish. Not mean. He just didn't like all the accolades that came with him being so good. And people thought he was an asshole. So embrace being the villain. We're all the villain in somebody's story. But like this, that's what keeps you from drafting the Keon Coleman. Like, and he's right. It's crazy. You didn't get a chance to see it. One day I'm gonna get that path, but I've been there before. They're in the interview rooms. Oh, actually, all right. You know what it's like, Jada? Remember we were in the doing the interviews and you saw the NFL Network stuff, and they had like cookies and juice. You didn't like, or even when we were at the Super Bowl, Radio Row, like certain places have food catered. That's what, imagine a meeting room that is the size of a hotel room and it's full of a hotel suite, but it's full of people in it, but they got fruit, they got cookies, they got chips, they got everything there that's like, and you literally have been up since 6 a.m. and they have not, like, you don't have a chance to really eat until after the drills. So like, and you've been meeting all day. So like, shit, they doing that to test you. And you know what you should be doing? That to test them. I don't want to be around people who want me malnourished. So like, you hungry and you nervous, but like, that's what I'm gonna teach I try to teach my sons, don't be nervous in the room you go into. Like, be who you are. Be so confident in who you are. Actually, that's the new cheat code. Be so confident in who you are that it makes other people nervous. That's when you know you won. Because now if they're nervous, you can take them off their game. But shout out to Keon.
Staying in the college football world, huge shout out to Eddie George. He has become the new head coach for Bowling Green University. So we got it right here. I think we saw him when we were in Indy. We were at Burn, James.
Yep, I got a picture. I took a picture with him last night. You were gone. But yeah, he was at Burn. He was over in Section 87.
Yeah, he was in Section 87, and he was a former Heisman Trophy winner in 1995 with the Buckeyes, and obviously NFL running back, had a historic career, and he had previously been the head coach at Tennessee State since 2021. So he inherited the Tennessee State team that hadn't been to the playoffs since 2013. And in his fourth year, achieved a 9-4 record with a Big South OVC championship. So you see a lot of these HBCU coaches going to the D1 programs now. Obviously saw Dion make that transition. Now you're seeing Eddie George getting a chance to go back to Ohio.
Where are you at? Like, what did he do for you?
Oh, okay. Here's what happened. I was working at a treatment facility called Mary Haven. So we asked Big Daddy, what's his name, Wilkins or something? He was a lineman for Ohio State to come to talk to the kids at a treatment facility, and he said, yeah. Then when he got drafted, he said, show me, when he was getting ready to get drafted, he said, show me the money. You know, like we had to pay him to come and speak to the kids. So to make a long story short, Eddie George got word of what happened, and he called me up. And he said, hey, I'm sorry about what had happened, but I could bring 4 of our guys and myself. He says, but I can't. He said, once I get the Heisman Trophy and bring it to Ohio, I'll come over to Mary Haven and I'll spend time and talk to the kids for you. I'm sorry for what happened. And that's what he did.
Yeah, that's a stand-up dude.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's a stand-up guy because he didn't have to do it. And he had just got off the plane. From getting his from the Heisman to bring it to Ohio, and he dropped it off wherever he went to drop it off, or what he did, whatever he had to do, and he came over there and spent time with the kids. Was supposed to be for about an hour. He was there for about 3 or 4 hours.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah, I was trying to remember the story. I know you were telling me something.
So that's what Eddie George, and I always liked him from that point there because he didn't have to do none of that.
I still got a T-shirt that you got signed for me. I think it's at Mom House.
Yeah, that's Eddie George's signature.
Yeah,
on that T-shirt, and you should have told him that I got your shirt. Mike.
I told him that. I didn't remember how the story happened, but I told him that I got a signature from him right after he won the Heisman.
Mm-hmm. And that's worth a lot of money. It's just like if your sister kept this Barbie doll, I got her the first black Barbie doll and gave it to her.
Oh wow!
The first black Barbie doll. And then I fucked this up myself. because I didn't value it, so I fucked it up. I had the cornflakes bag with Michael Jordan, the first cornflake out of the first, I think 1,000 of them. I had that, and the cereal was still in it. Never opened it.
Damn.
Do you know how much that was worth?
It was a lot, but it was probably the Wheaties, but like I don't know how y'all ate that. Wheaties is terrible. But
I love Wheaties. Cause see, we ate Wheaties like this here, and we ate Wheaties by eating Wheaties and letting it get soggy. And that's how we ate it. It tastes better soggy.
It tastes like cardboard. It just tastes like soggy cardboard.
No, not when you put enough sugar in there. The whole catch-22, we put enough sugar.
I'm saying it's the nutritional value got taken away. That's why we all got diabetes now.
Yeah, but that's what we did. But see, I didn't know about yellow grits until I came down to Florida. And when they showed me yellow grits, I didn't want to eat yellow grits because I never heard of yellow grits. And then I remember on Bridgetown, right on the same side of the street where the barbershop was, if you go down the next block, there was a lady who used to sell dinners. And I asked for a fish dinner on a Friday. And she brings me a fish dinner with the head on it. I was like, what the hell are you doing? And that's the way they was eating the food with the head, with the fish with the heads on it back then. I didn't know that. That scared me.
All right, let me
tell you this story. You're gonna laugh at this. It's just like when I first came down to FAMU, I met this young lady, right? And in Ohio, if you had candles, a lot of candles, then you was leaving out the house because we was told that was voodoo, right? She had over 30 candles lit up. So guess what I did? How you doing? I gotta go. Because of the voodoo. You heard about the voodoo? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You said something. Yeah, the voodoo.
So once I seen all those candles, I was like, I gotta go. I cannot be here. My mother and father told me about voodoo. So that was it, man.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you later, Dad.
And the Flintstones, I had a car like the Flintstones too.
You had to brake with your feet?
No, it didn't go in reverse. It didn't go in reverse because the transmission was messed up. So if somebody parked in front of you, you had to get out the car, put it in reverse, and back it out. Yeah. Man, it was crazy. But those are stories that's crazy. But anyway, so that's it.
All right, Dad. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
I told y'all, man, again, you ain't a great father, dog, man. That motherfucker unintentionally hilarious, dog. Hilarious, bro. Like, no, man. No, because the stories be so the scariest part about that is I had no idea where that story was gonna go. It could have been way wilder than that because like it's the best part about it is when you find out all the stories are real because they don't sound real to me. But like my mom was like, yeah, one day some dude, we were driving down the set, like not the set, Wanish Way. That's the road that's right next to FAMU Stadium. And a dude called her fat. And my dad parked the car, opened up the door. My dad was like, he was a Marine, so he was like fit then. And he said, the only motherfucker who calls my woman fat is me. And he punched the dude, threw him on top of the car, and it was like taking his fist and when he's telling this story, he's laughing about telling this story. Like, you assaulted a man. And anyways, I'm just glad he did. Y'all thought, again, anybody who thinks I'm bad, he's worse. So I can only imagine how his father was. I don't even know. He's like just like, oh man. Like these motherfuckers had stories, dog. They were poor as shit in college, dog. Like their college poor was way different than my college poor, or even what college poor is now. But they made it work. This stories sound funny. But anyways, I called him to get the good story about Eddie George, and then it went down a path that I should have asked about M17s. What they thoughts about that? If he smoked, I would believe it. He's probably has a cup of liquor right now, but who knows? But shit, what were we talking about Eddie George? But Eddie was cool. Eddie, cool people. Somebody asked, is this a vertical move? Yeah, I guarantee he's getting paid twice as much, but he doesn't really care about the money. The only thing sad is that I really wanted him to ride it out at Tennessee State. But I can't get mad at him for this. I am mad at the way they kind of like to get a new coach in March. It's kind of fucked up, man. Because now Bowling Green's and he's in a fucked situation at Bowling Green. Because it's going to be hard to get new coaches. It's going to be, unless you take your coaches from Tennessee State. It's going to be hard to get. You don't have that recruiting class isn't what you recruited, and now you have to now Tennessee State's in a situation where they're going to be fucked up. So, but yeah.
So next thing on our agenda today, just to finish out this college segment before we get into the NFL. March Madness is about to start. One of the best times of the year for sports fans, and I want to just share this with you all. Coming out of a blue blood school, Duke, obviously he's projected to be top pick, top 3, number 1 on a lot of people's books. But Cooper Flagg has been doing his thing, and you can see right here. Let's go into his dominance. So Cooper Flagg is leading Duke in every major statistical category as a freshman. So points, 19.6, steals, 1.6, rebounds, 7.5, assists, 4.2, blocks, 1.2, and he's leading the team in minutes as well. So excited.
Who do you think gonna get the first pick in the draft?
It's probably gonna be like Washington, Utah, Portland. The Bulls might have a shot. The Spurs, a lot of the Spurs fans want them to tank just so they can have a stacked team. Like it's like what they did with Robinson and Duncan, like how that worked. Like they want that to be the
What's
same thing.
Cooper play? What position?
He's a 4. He's like 6'9", but he can handle it, so he can play point, bring the ball up.
So it might work out. So one of the things that was what really brought LeBron James back into the light, and Gilbert Arenas and them called him out for it, was them saying who will be the face of the NBA. Like LeBron being the face of the NBA so long is bad for the NBA. The only way to change that is obviously there are some good people, but if Cooper comes in and has a LeBron-esque type impact, not LeBron impact, because it won't be, then we'll be doing that same bullshit we do with LeBron to Michael Jordan. But if he can come in and like just live up to the hype of being the number 1 overall pick, because he is the great white hope, but he's really good. Like, so I don't mind it. Like, it kind of goes into what we're going to talk about with the Angel Reese segment here in a little bit. But like, when I hear men just really just outright trash the WNBA, I kind of get it, but I also think you have a thing against women. Like, and the only reason I say that is because you can't tell me watching Juju is very good basketball. When I get a chance to see it, I don't watch NBA games like that. But if I see a Juju highlight, I'm watching it. If I see a Tanaya highlight, I'm watching it. Like, I know more college women basketball players coming up than I know college basketball players. I know about Cooper because they did such a really good job of developing Cooper, because isn't it 2 of them?
He has a younger brother,
Yeah, it's
but
two
he's not as.
But I'm saying it's 2 flags. And this flag might be so good that he gets the other that he. This flag is so good that he might get the other flag drafted. Are we gonna be mad about nepotism when the other flag gets drafted? That's the craziest part too. Didn't Giannis got like 2 brothers that's in the NBA, or at least one? Yeah. And neither one of them are as good as Giannis, right? Yeah. But they got drafted because Giannis is so fucking good. Like nobody gives a shit. That's how I know LeBron's the GOAT. Only reason people give a shit about Bronny being where he's at is because LeBron is so fucking good. It ain't never happened before. And the only reason they mad about it is because Michael Jordan wasn't good enough to get his mid-ass sons drafted. But they're okay in life. Well, one of them not so much. Not one of them not so much, but the other ones is like, yeah. But he was drinking and doing. Well, his dad was a man. He was doing coke at that age. If you're gonna stop getting DUIs for alcohol, brother. But all jokes aside, is I think Cooper Flag is going to make the NBA interesting. So,
speaking of interesting, man, we got some free agency release, offseason news for the NFL. Man, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening this past weekend. Can't wait to get talk about some of the contracts that are occurring. But first, before we get into that, let's do a little quick recap of some of the big money deals that happened in the league. Sharing this with you all right now. So yeah, we're gonna run down some of these names. We're gonna talk about some of these stories, talk about some of these situations. So let's get into it. First things first, Josh Allen getting that 6-year, $330 million contract. Then you got DK Metcalf's getting traded to the Steelers, 5 years, $150. Then we got to talk about Myles Garrett getting that extension with the Browns. Devontae Adams back on the West Coast on the Rams. You got Chiefs, Nick Bolton. Patriots, outside linebacker Harold Landry. Got Jets linebacker Jermaine Sherwood, 3 years, $45 million. Then you got a couple Seahawks moves as well. Ernest Jones, Jerron Reed. And then we got Aaron Jones re-signing with the Vikings. So we'll start out with the Seahawks first, and then we will branch out into the other teams as well. Let me share this with you all. So you see it right here. DK has signed a new deal for the Steelers to a 5-year, $150 million contract. And also the trade compensation for the Steelers is that Steelers are sending a 2nd-round draft pick to the Seahawks and flipping picks in the 6th and 7th round per sources.
So they got basically... Well, they got more value because DK was a 2nd-round pick, if I remember correct. Or was he a late 1st round? He might have been a late 1st round. But I put up a post and it's
2nd-round pick.
It was amazing how some people just take that. I put we joked around, we called Samarian Wingo from St. Augustine High School and Bryson Wright from Mandarin, who played on Domo National Team 707. We called them the Splash Brothers. Cause they just made plays. I'm joking like the Golden Skin Warriors. They used to call them that. Steph and the dude who looked like John B. Clay. Speaking of Clay, did you hear about Eddie George banging the dude from Outkick's wife? Yeah, that's why he hates Clay. Like Clay, is it Clay Davis or Clay? I forgot the dude's name.
Travis.
Clay Travis. Yeah, he hates
Somebody
Eddie
said
George.
that in the chat.
Yeah,
never mind.
Like just had her just folded her like a pretzel. Like they were in college though. It was before Clay, she said Clay's doing okay with his life. He just got wife. Sometimes it happens. You weren't her first. Somebody she didn't learn them tricks from you, Clay. but I call the Steelers wide receivers with DK and George Pickens the Crash Brothers. Because one thing them two motherfuckers gonna do is crash out. And they talking about bringing Aaron Rodgers down. Like that is going to be them. They're trying to get this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Mike Tomlin out of Dodge. Period. There's no other way to explain this. Because I like DK as a number 2 receiver. I like George Pickens as a number 2 receiver. They don't have anybody that's just going to get open like that. but they got two guys that's willing to fight. And if you bring Aaron Rodgers in, I just because Aaron Rodgers, Sierra's husband, and then the worst is the young bull Justin Fields. Like, there's no organization, there's no rhyme or reason what the Steelers are doing right now. None of this shit makes sense. But shout out to DK getting paid though.
Yeah, speaking of Seahawks news, we're gonna get into some more information right here. And their quarterback Geno Smith was traded to the Raiders for a third round pick as well. Reconnecting with head coach Pete Carroll, who was the former head coach for the Seahawks. Now he took the job in Las Vegas, so he's reunited with him. And so these were the Seattle Seahawks moves this week. Cut wide receiver Tyler Lockett, defensive tackle Draymond Jones, Roy Robertson Harris, Rayshon Jenkins, and George Fant. Traded Geno Smith, like we said, and traded wide receiver DK Metcalf to the Steelers, and for a second round pick and a late round pick flop. And there's been a lot of news regarding the quarterback situation in Seattle. So we got this fact right here. So per Diana Rossini, senior NFL insider for The Atlantic, there's been some speculation that the Seahawks are targeting Sam Darnold now from the Vikings to be their quarterback. And where does that leave Daniel Jones, you might ask? The Vikings and Colts are expected to be the leading contenders to sign Daniel Jones. And he said the 27-year-old might have to make a decision to play for head coach Kevin O'Connell or head coach Shane Steichen, per Diana Rossini again. So that's how it all ties into each other with that. Now we're going to move on to the West Coast, man. Devontae is back in California. So we're going to get into this deal right here. Devontae signed a 2-year deal for $46 million. Yes, you heard me. 2-year deal, $46 million with the LA Rams. And so now they got Matthew Stafford, Puka. There's been some speculation that Cooper Kupp might be leaving the Rams. Hopefully he comes to Jags.
He's in the free agency.
Yeah, he's in the free agency, so I would not mind him and
Devontae
Jackson.
Adams basically that makes that pretty much a given.
They got Tutu Atwell, obviously. Like I said, Puka Nacua as well. So wide receiver room has a lot of bodies. Got a lot of hands in it. Got a lot of dogs on the field. So super excited to see how that team is going to thrive. James, what do you think about Devontae being on the Rams? Do you think they have more of a shot to get that deep playoff run for next season?
Shit, yeah. They just got to get consistent and with their offense. I think they have the pieces. That defense is going to be hell for a few years. Getting the quarterback position, getting the quarterback to understand let him go out there, see the streets, and realize that's why they made sidewalks. And he came right on back. So that's good. Like, I think they're in a good position to be what they need to be in the West. So I'm trying to with Seahawks, wilding, Cardinals. As long as the little munchkin is over there, they ain't got to worry about that. Who am I missing on the West Coast for NFC West? Oh, and San Fran is doing a fire sale. So yeah.
Speaking of the West, we got some news from the AFC West from a team in that division, the Chiefs. So the Chiefs have now retained both guard Trey Smith on the franchise tag and linebacker Nick Bolton on a 3-year, $45 million contract. And out of that $45 million, $30 million is guaranteed. So huge shout out Bolton, definitely a elite defender for the Chiefs, a dog on that field. So congratulations on getting that money and for getting that $30 million guaranteed. So we're going to move on with some more news right here. Coming out of the Minnesota Vikings. So Aaron Jones is re-signing with the Vikings on a 2-year, $20 million deal that includes $13 million guaranteed per sources. The deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus. Aaron Jones started all 17 games in his first season with the Vikings, rushing for a career-high 1,138 yards and adding 408 receiving yards with 7 total touchdowns. I think it was 5 rushing, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can fact check me on that. And 2 receiving touchdowns, but good contract, man. 2-year, 20 million, 13 guaranteed. A majority of the money guaranteed for Aaron Jones. Had a great season. For his personal career with the Vikings right here with the career high in yards. So huge shout out to Aaron Jones. If I had to guess, probably like 30. Oh, 30. I was gonna guess older than that.
Oh no, that's good money.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he might have I think he could have pushed for more, considering where he was at, considering what Saquon's got. They're paying running backs. They're about to pay running backs a lot more. But, maybe he's comfortable with the spot he's in. And if it's a 2-year deal, 2-year deals with that much guaranteed money are basically 1-year deals with the option for the next year. So he could potentially renegotiate next year.
I hope he gets his bag if he does plan to renegotiate and gets paid even more and more. So huge shout out to Aaron Jones for that as well. And staying in the NFC North, there has been some news from the Lions organization about a release of a pickup they made, I would say, right before they went on their playoff run. But if this will load, I will share it, but if not, all right, Twitter's acting up again. But on the Lions, Zadarius Smith has been released from the team, staying in that NFC category, NFC North, to be more specific. And obviously he got picked up because there's a lot of injuries on the Lions defense last year, especially their front. Aiden Hutchinson had to deal with his season-ending injury, so they had to find somebody that could ultimately try and replace him. But
They said he need to he got released, turn his jersey in and Cash Doll, because apparently he's dating Cash Doll.
He is dating Cash Doll.
I have no idea what song Cash Doll makes. I just know Cash Doll has really big hands for a woman and feet, and just a little. She could palm a men's basketball. So put you out of prospect.
Yeah, that would be a crazy athlete. Pole vaulter, because she used to be. Never mind. We gonna get into. But anyways, staying with some more NFL news, we gotta leave the 2 big dogs for last. So we got to talk about Myles Garrett and the money he received as well. So while we talk about this, James, I know while I'm getting a chance to pull this up, we got a chance to see Myles Garrett in person in the media row, James. And he is not no small guy. I don't know what I was expecting, but he's at least like 6'3" in person, 6'3", 6'4". I could not imagine trying to block him off the edge. It seems like an impossible feat. And that is why he is very deserving of this money. Pulling it up per CBS Sports right here. So Garrett and the Browns agreed on a contract extension to stay in Cleveland that averages $40 million per year and includes $123.5 million in guaranteed salary. So he beat out the Max Crosby for being the highest paid NFL player that's a non-quarterback. So Garrett officially requested a trade in early February, but Cleveland consistently stated it was unwilling to entertain that request. Threw that money out there, and he definitely decided to stay in Cleveland as well. So, James, do you think Myles Garrett is in a point of his career now where he's taking, I would say, personal pride, especially with the money, over team success?
2 guys who are way richer than I will ever be. Way more famous, way more accomplished. Gilbert Arenas and Cam Newton have both been on record stating, because they've both been asked this, would you rather the championships or would you rather the check? Everybody who has never played, you know what they always say? Oh, man, I'd rather win a Super Bowl. I'd rather win this. You'd rather win a Super Bowl than make $40 million a year? You are out of your fucking mind. Gilbert Arenas said, I could go buy a championship ring right now for like $5,000. There's plenty of people on a championship ring. Who's the white dude for the Boston Celtics that Stephen A. Smith used to always joke about? The one white, the DEI.
Brian
hire?
Scalabrine?
Yeah, Scalabrine has championship rings. You think Scalabrine wouldn't want to trade his rings to have Gilbert Arenas fuck you money? I'm pretty sure he will. Matter of fact, on the show, they got the one ugly dude I think he played basketball in North Carolina on
Rashad
Gilbert's show.
McCants?
Yeah, doesn't Rashad McCants have a ring or something like that?
No.
Okay, remember Rashad was just something. Like I forgot. Like
He played
no. Whatchamacallit? Because
Nick Young.
Yeah.
Has a ring
Nick
with the
Young always
Warriors.
says you was watching me play the championship. He's like, okay, that's your get back. You got that, fine, whatever. But he was like, you wasn't you was on the team. You wasn't winning the championship.
Yeah.
But when I think about Myles Garrett, he will be a Hall of Famer. He will have every other individual accolade, and he can go buy himself an imaginary championship ring if he wants to. In fact, if I were making that kind of money, you know what I would do? I would collect championship rings from broke players like Infinity Stones and just show, like I would show up. It just, matter of fact, I would make a Thanos arm thing and just keep putting every championship ring that I bought in this thing, just so that people can take away this thought process. The goal of playing this and making sure you don't, I'm not going to remember half the shit that I did sometime. That's why I tell the stories to my kids now. The goal is to make sure that my family doesn't have to go and ram their head into people if they don't want to. And he's done a really good job at it. Think about this. Sometimes fucking up a motherfucker on site pays, right? Think about how well, this is why I know that Steeler deserved it. For who was the white dude? I know he said something to Myles. Because ever since Myles Garrett hit him with a helmet, Mason Rudolph, his life has been so much better. And what have we known about Mason? And where has Mason Rudolph's life gone? Don't even know what Mason Rudolph's doing. He might still be in the league, might not be. But shout out to him. I want to leave to win a championship. $123 million guaranteed. I rescind my request. So Cleveland's not that bad. That bitch like Drew Carey. All the little chicks with the Cleveland, with the crimson lips, holla, Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Damn, I just thought about something. Has any TV show ever put on for their city more than the Drew Carey show? I know you weren't even alive when the Drew Carey. Do you even know who Drew Carey is?
Yeah, I know he's a host of The Price is Right. The Price is Right.
Well, see, like he used to be Whose Line Is It Anyway? It used to be so many other things that he did, but like he put on for his city. So, right, but I don't remember the winner of the Super Bowl. Facts. Not 2025, but the 25th Super Bowl. Yeah, I got you.
So just to dive deeper into his contract, so the two sides have now agreed on the massive deal that, like I previously mentioned, will make Garrett the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, recently beating out Max Crosby from the Raiders. So per Adam Schefter, this agreement includes a no trade clause and will keep Garrett in Cleveland through the 2030 season. Sold his soul, man, for that $40 million.
Everybody has a price. Damn, Devin, you old as fuck, man. God damn. God, like that's a show. WKRP in Cincinnati. That's how it it was about a radio show. Used to eat. That's an old ass show. That's one of them shows when you sitting up in the morning and like your grandmother, somebody's getting you ready when I was coming up. Yeah.
Match.
Yeah. That's when I knew it was time to go to bed. When the match came on.
So next, coming out of the Buffalo Bills, they have recently cut Von Miller. You know, was a stud. And
he's still playing?
Yeah. Yes, he was still playing, and they just cut Von Miller. And they probably did that to get a little bit more contract and cap space for their starting quarterback, Josh Allen. Some historic numbers have been made. Allen and the Bills have agreed on a 6-year, $330 million contract that includes $250 million guaranteed.
Now, before we get into it, here's what I want to tell people. And I heard it, and this is what a GM told me. Everybody who says NFL contracts aren't fully guaranteed. You don't know what you're talking about. what that contract, how that should read. Just like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett signed a $123 million contract. Not guaranteed, not the full totality, but he knows he's getting that that's fully guaranteed. Everything else is incentives. He signed a $250 million contract. That 330 is incentives. So he has a fully guaranteed contract. It's just there's more money in that. It's just the way that it's written that 330 sounds better than 250. But also it makes NFL players look incompetent. But when you really just think about it, like, bitch, I signed a $250 million guarantee extension, right? It's a contract extension, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like you said, the 250 million guaranteed, the misnomer there, is the most amount of guaranteed money a player in the NFL has ever received for a contract. And this is coming up after the Josh Allen's MVP award, MVP season this past season. Still had Lamar getting that, but anyways, it's a whole different story. And just to read off some of his stats, Allen completed 64% of his passes for 3,731 yards, 28 touchdowns, while getting over 12 touchdowns on the ground as well. So
2 things in this. We signed the wrong Josh Allen. And this is what happens when you don't hyphenate your last name. You make record-breaking money. Also, again, I want to clarify because I saw it in the comments. That's Jason Hayes put up that is the argument. The argument is that NBA, MLB contracts are fully guaranteed, every cent of it. That is the argument, but that doesn't mean the argument is factual. I could argue with you right now that it is not cloudy in Jacksonville, but it's very cloudy in Jacksonville. The argument is that NBA players and MLB players actually can make more than what is their guaranteed contract because they have incentives too. And incentives are only triggered when you hit them. What was said is that he has a $250 million guaranteed contract. $250 million of that is 100% guaranteed. The $330 million is escalators. You don't hear about NBA escalators because they don't give a fuck about that. You hear about NFL escalators because that overinflates what you think the contract is. Every NFL contract has guaranteed money. That shit is guaranteed. That you have a guaranteed, fully guaranteed contract. If you don't do anything else besides your job, you're guaranteed to make 100% of the money that they say is guaranteed in that contract. Everything else is escalators. Some of those are easy escalators. Some of them aren't escalators. Ask me how I know. I've actually had I've had an NFL contract in my hand before. So that's the reason why. And even those big name contracts, you got to play 10 years. That's even that is just crazy for baseball. NBA, it's only 15 players. So shit. Take your shot. Take your chances. And they're not guaranteed contracts either. They just won't sign a contract that's not guaranteed. It's not even in their CBA. And again, go look at those CBAs. There is no professional sport has guaranteed contracts. They just won't sign a contract without guaranteed money. My bad. I just want to make sure everybody's. So when you go to these bars and you argue with people, I want you to be the smartest person in the bar.
speaking of bars, a lot of people when they go to bars, they have bar fights, and Xavier Worthy has been fighting too. So if you guys didn't know, Xavier Worthy was arrested. There was a scuffle between him and his girlfriend. Just a quick wrap up right here. Girlfriend was staying at Xavier Worthy's house. Xavier Worthy hired a PI because he speculated she was cheating. PI had video evidence of her cheating. He tried to kick her out of his home in Texas near Austin. Did not want to leave. Fighting ensued. She scratched his face, pulled his hair, things of that nature, and ultimately led up to him getting arrested. So first, before we get into the result of that, we're going to see a statement on behalf of Xavier Worthy and his legal team right here. Read it for you quick. So this is a statement on behalf of Xavier Worthy by Chip Lewis and Sam Bassett. We are aware of the allegation that led to Worthy's arrest. We are working with law enforcement in Williamson County to ensure they have the benefit of the totality of the circumstance that led to this allegation. The complainant was asked multiple times over the last 2 weeks to vacate Mr. Worthy's residence upon discovery of her infidelity, which a private investigator has video evidence of. She refused to vacate the residence and made a number of extortive efforts prior to resorting to the baseless allegation against Mr. Worthy. The complaint further destroyed a room in the residence, scratched Mr. Worthy's face, and ripped out parts of his hair, which there's photographic evidence of. Mr. Worthy told law enforcement at the time of the incident he did not want to press charges against the complainant. We will continue to cooperate with Williamson County authorities as we have full faith that their thorough investigation will support Mr. Worthy's innocence. So what happened with that? The defense attorney will not charge Worthy for domestic violence after the independent witnesses came forward to say he was the victim. Worthy has tried to get his fiancée, Tia Jones, she is a track athlete, to leave for 2 weeks after he found out she cheated on him, pulled out his hair, and destroyed his property. So, James, what advice could you give Worthy so he won't make the same mistake again? And what are your thoughts on this situation?
Quote a light-skinned dude from Toronto with his emotions. Mature women with more than me were the first to tempt me. Get you an old woman that's got a situation, that's got her own money, that doesn't bother you, and you just live. I was gonna get to that, but just there's some people who will listen to this that know me that will fully get what I was just saying. One day I could just, oh man, it's the things I know that I don't want to know. But here's the part. Here's where he messed up. Call the police first, which he did. You don't have to press charges, but you can make an official statement anytime that you go into the situation, right? I get it, not want to press charges. But officer, I want to fully detail everything that has happened to me so that I can go on record. And what happens is if he would have went on record, the DA would not have had any standing here because he's the one who called the police. But now, luckily they had witnesses, their team was ready, and they dropped the charges relatively fast. But for like everyday individuals, like you got to go get that. Like if you get you have an arrest record. You have that's why when people like just complied, no, you could get fired for being arrested. It's not a fun process. It costs money. It costs time. And as a male in general, they're going to automatically assume you're guilty. And I also believe this is why when I listen to everybody's story, but I believe all facts. And I know a lot of women, including women that I love, hate when I say that. Because there are men who do knock the shit out of their women. But there are women who knock the shit out of their men and rape men and do all these other different things. And we don't know these things because not enough men talk about these things. Talk about it. I will promise you, as a man who's lived, nobody runs the gamut on ain't shit. No race, no male, no female, no sex. Like, actually, I would say, you know how the joke is like, you know how the people know women are the problem? Is who leads, like, the highest divorce rate amongst the community. You know who has the highest divorce rate? Lesbians. So even women are tired of women's shit. So what I tell my daughter and what I have told other women that are close to me in my life, I want to defend you. Don't put me in a situation where I'm going to look stupid for defending you. I.e., the situation with the wide receiver from Florida State not too long ago, where I lose a friend or I get shot at because you was whooping his ass and you told me to come handle it. Because women's tears have gotten a lot of dudes fucked up. Hell, even in movies. A sister's tears got, even though Sonny was in the right, but Sonny wanted to go defend his sister is what got him killed at the toll plaza in Godfather 2. I mean, Godfather 1. But you know, that's what I was telling them to do. Press charges. And know your worth, men. Brother, you are one of the, like, no, you are, brother, you are the man. And I know women love to say, oh, I can't believe he could fumble. Bitch, no, you fumbled him. Brother, it is a line. The women are, it is a line of women more consistent than the trains or buses. Like, they will, like, the minute, I bet his DMs were flooded. I would never put my hands on you. I would never. You need better than this. I bet it's an old woman in his text messages right now saying, you would have never had to worry about this from me. I'd fly up from Texas to hang out with you or some shit like this, some southern place. Not Texas particularly, but like a southern gal. But like these young bras is nothing like, dude, be honest with you. They want equality. Treat these bras the same way they've been treating us. Not bold at all. You got to be. What happens is it's the same misogynistic constructs that women claim to hate that you lean on every chance they get the opportunity. That's why they want chivalry. They will hit, and men are taught to not hit women consistently. That's what our culture teaches us because of misogyny. They are the fairest sex. But women want equality. Women are not taught to not defend themselves against men and not put yourself in the man's place. That's why women can say shit on Twitter like, stay out of women's business when it comes to stuff, but be so in men's business. There's so much in men's business now that when we were just looking at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, right? I think she's dope. I think she's dope at her job, but you got a woman in men's business. Sports, there's more women covering the NFL now than ever. In fact, you're more apt to see a woman cover the NFL than a man. Which is fine. I have no problem with it, but what I'm saying is that is a woman in men's business. But the flip side, and we'll put a woman in a locker room after a man just got done wanting to wash his ass or shower and expect the man to adjust to her coming into their space. But the flip side of that, if a man goes into a WNBA locker room, like, you see what I'm saying? Like a woman coach. When do you coach your players? In the locker room, right? Hey, men coaches are expected to, hey, wait till you get, are you decent? Okay, I'm gonna come in. The football culture is not men's sports culture isn't like that. But I'm not knocking it. I'm just pointing out the things that are there. And that's why, hell, my daughter's mother hit me. And the only thing that saved her, because one thing that happened, my mama taught me, don't ever let nobody hit you in your face. They hit you in your face. Everybody getting fucked up. The only thing that saved her was that literally a few days before, I had a teammate, Ernie, and now Ernie and Brooke worked through it, right? Brooke was whooping Ernie's ass, and Ernie just grabbed Brooke to stop getting hit. And Brooke is rice skinned, and she bruised. And what happens is when the police are called, somebody's going to jail, especially if there's bruises. So Ernie went to jail, and it made ESPN, it made all of this stuff. And I got hit, and I was ready to cock back and knock the fuck out of her. But then I remembered, holy shit, I'm about to lose everything. If I do this, I'm just gonna take this L, and I'm gonna. And I walked out of my apartment, and it was just crazy. It was like, but again, angry, young, immature. Not taught to not fumble the bag. Same thing. I do believe that bitch got drugged. Remember the Browns a year ago? And the lady told the story, like the police report, and like the dude literally drug her from the house to the car and all these other different things. But then she said, oh, that was a lie. Women, there's a thing that came up about emotional intelligence. Women love to say men don't have emotional intelligence, right? Right. But it was funny that these two white men just said, yes, I need to learn more emotional intelligence from my wife. One time, our plane got delayed, and I did not have the emotional intelligence to just say, I just said it is what it is, but that's because I lack the emotional intelligence to go and yell at a person who can't make the plane go faster and get mad at everybody else who's not mad. See, it's my woman's emotional intelligence that lets me know that I need to be better at this. And what happens is it's emotional intelligence when it's convenient. But the bigger thing is in all of this is they lack emotional intelligence, because if you realize you're not leaving this dude, and it might have been an argument and you might have had a role to play in it, but if I go and I really push this now, I'm going to fuck up the bag. And what happens is you do it and then you realize you fucked up the bag, and now you're trying to put the milk back in the carton after you done spilled the shit. And the thing is but now what I will tell Xavier is to have some emotional intelligence, brother. If you're out here, if you could potentially be out here cheating, right? Rein it back in a little bit. Or just leave. And stop moving in with it. That's the real thing. Stop moving in with these women.
I don't understand it. I'm not rich.
Away games and neutral site, baby. Don't play no home games. Not until you're really ready to give 65% and commit. Free game by big game. Don't give a woman over 65% of your dick. Unless you're willing to commit to that woman. That makes them go crazy. And if you go wrong, you already at 60. So like if you go wrong, you're at 60%, bro. Like one thrust is over at 65. Just don't go wrong. Just go and then just don't be going out there trying to prove a point. Because if you're gonna shake it up and you're gonna push, it's a button, and you push that cervix back, you push the button, and the button is where the crazy just goes into their brain. And then now you fucked up. And if you would have but most of us are afraid of your dick yelp being bad because you're young and he's athletic. He done power clean this chick. She ain't never been power clean before. So, but know your value, son. If she ain't, if she can't cook, you can call me old fashioned. You can call me misogynist, son. We have fun with women who can't cook and don't bring any peace to your table. Like that's it. Who's a big mama? Does she don't have a big mama in her life, or is a big mama my age? If a big mama my age, then son, that's already that red flag. Check it off. Big mama got to be 10, 15 years older than me. Yeah, and then you listen to him. If every problem is the dude that she dated, just a red flag. Scratch it out. We have fun with those. We don't do nothing else with them. Just fun. Keep it in the fun category. Man, boy, imagine if he'd have just shot her club up. Boy, he'd be in some shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay. Let's talk about something. I'm having, this is traumatizing to me. This is triggering. But nah.
That was it for our NFL segment. So we're going to transition to our Big Games BS segment. I previously mentioned at the start of the show, there has been some more turmoil between the athlete and the commentator. And this is true for Skip Bayless and Kevin Durant. Skip Bayless was recently on a podcast and sent shots to KD. What did he say exactly? Well, we are going to watch this video. Let us know what you think. Was Skip Bayless wrong? Was Kevin Durant wrong in the situation? We'd love to hear your opinion in the chat below. But Skip Bayless said, quote, "The more I watch him at 36, Kevin Durant, the more he looks mentally semi-retired to me."
The more I watch him at age 36, the more he looks mentally semi-retired to me. He's participating in a documentary that's being made about his life and times, and it just feels to me like he's winding down his basketball. And it's reflecting in the Suns' one-loss record because they started off 8-1 this year. Since then, they've gone 20-31. They're 28-33 overall as we speak. That's 4 games out of the play-in, even though Kevin is putting up tremendous numbers, Kevin Durant style numbers. He's averaging 27, 6, and 4, shooting 53% from the floor and 40% from 3. But They just don't guard because they don't seem to care. They look lifeless to me. They are the flip side of the team at the top of the West standings, the team Kevin started with. That team is motivated to go places. The Phoenix Suns just look like they're done to me because Kevin looks like he's on his last mental legs, not his last physical leg, just mental legs. He's
See,
not.
This is why people want to slap them and say it's more personal than, like, I want you to write it down and read it out loud. I thought, again, I don't watch basketball. So for me as a guy who doesn't watch basketball, and I hear that he's mentally semi-retired, what would you think? Like, mentally semi-retired, Miles, what would that mean to you?
I mean, it's nothing. It's so vague. It means nothing.
But I'm saying, if somebody's like I'm thinking sleepwalking, maybe he's going to get 10 points, right? He's not a factor in the game, right? What would you think with that? 27, 6, and fucking 4? He's scoring, if an average NBA scores 100 points, right? He scored over 25%. There are 14 other people on that team. That's what that is why people who have actually played, people who are sane, have a problem with the way it's sensationalized media. And what he knows is that I'm going to throw this rock, and you know what's going to happen? Kevin Durant's going to respond, and I'm going to have somebody to argue with me. And that's why you get a Stephen A. Smith. When LeBron sees him courtside, he comes to him because, hey, man, I'm tired of going back and forth with you on social media, making you relevant. I'm about to really make you relevant. Keep my motherfucking son's name out your mouth. Keep it to sports. You can't, people have called your bluff on you not knowing what the fuck you're talking about. So now you have to make it basis. This is why I wish Shannon 2 years ago would have went across that table and choked the fuck out of him. And again, you need somebody to play with. And at the end of the day, he's really good. Skip Bayless invented this kind of shit. We talked about it. But KD we both watched. It was a great run. You're so bad at your job now that you got to grasp at straws.
I think they played last night, and I think he's like the oldest. He's like the oldest person to still be averaging like those numbers. Like he's the oldest player. Like he's the only 36-year-old to be averaging.
I'm about to say he's the oldest player, not LeBron, because people be like, LeBron sucks. And then I go, I'm like, damn, okay. Damn, LeBron might be washing. Now look, I'm like, oh shit, LeBron doing better numbers than LeBron's doing the same numbers that he did when he was 18. 19, when he hit the NBA. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? It's some hater ass shit. We have literally empowered hating. Like, this isn't critique. Now, maybe you could talk about some vague shit like he's not showing the leadership skills or something like that, but but brother, he's doing his part. These are professionals, man.
You got to think at some point the times are going to catch up with them. It's so baseless and vague.
And you're right. And he's 36 as a guy who the people want to know why do you like the real reason I like LeBron, that motherfucker my age doing incredible shit that I ain't been able to do in probably 8 years. 8 years might be too much. 34. I think about 34 is when the window really closed on my athletic ability. Like, I'm not doing shit athletic anymore. But yeah, man, it's just you people like we're acting more feminine, and we're losing our recipes. Like, I gotta go back to a time when men were men, man, and we actually do. Let's embrace great debate and great discussion, point, counterpoint, like things that are tangible. Don't say shit like, oh, well, he's semi-retired, but he's like the 10th leading scorer in the NBA or some shit like that. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, so that fact I was trying to let the fans know about was that Kevin Durant has put up the most career points per game by a 36-year-old player with 26.9 points per game.
That's what I mean. The real fans have to know that Skip is just drumming up. Like eventually it's gonna burn out. I think he's on his last leg.
I think so too. But it's unfortunate. But after seeing the debate with like the just how people took again, it's more so the Stephen A. Smith, LeBron thing, and when like they're to see how many people aren't even arguing what LeBron was mad at Stephen A. Smith about. Like to see people like really like I'm afraid of the future. Like I'm afraid, like it literally terrifies me the way that motherfuckers think. Like you can't see any like because again, even if it's just basketball, it's not even a good just basketball argument. Right. That's the problem. Is that it's not a basketball argument. You're making it personal because you know that's the only way you're going to. Let me rephrase that. It's not the only way. You know that's the fastest way you're going to get the clicks and the revenue that you want. And then you can flip it and make yourself a victim, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in this. How can you talk so saucy, so aggressive, and then flip to a bitch so fast? That's why I like Cam Newton. That's why I really do like Stephen, the real Stephen A. Smith, the one who will just fuck a man's bitch and say, I'm sorry. Right. But when they say something aggressive, they meant that shit. They stand on it. But these guys, well, I don't even understand why you could even be mad at me for saying that. It was just my opinion on sports. No, it wasn't. You said this man was semi-retired. And the bitch is putting up career numbers. Like numbers that you will want a 24-year-old to make. A 36-year-old is putting up.
He's trying to drum up the people who hate on Kevin Durant, but that segment is smaller and smaller. Kevin Durant has been playing low key like for a long time now.
And that's the wild part. He's just over here minding his business, DMing bitches and trying to get on. What's the chick name? Taylor Rooks.
There's so many women in the world. I'll never understand it.
I don't know, though. Taylor kind of fine. She is. Taylor kind of fine. Joy, okay, man. If everybody else didn't have Joy, I'm cool. Taylor's kind of like, okay, man. But you're right. But the problem is that those women compete because they know there's only so many Kevin Durants. So they're doing more than the other one. That's why again, I want women to win. I got to be realizing, dog. Some of these women know how to play a game. They're you know what? Like Kevin Durant. Kevin might be old, but he know how to get you 26, right? Taylor, it's a lot of women, but Taylor knows how to play professional. She knows what she needs to do to box out the other chicks to get that rebound. I don't know if everybody following what I'm putting down here, but some women know how to play the game. But anyways, fuck Skip. I hope he dies.
Well, he will one day. We all will. But Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are joining forces again. Stephen A. Smith will appear on the Skip Bayless show this week. And I hope this does not come into fruition because I already know what it's going to be.
It's going to be about LeBron and KD. They're going to LeBron spanked his ass in public. And now you got to go back to your white daddy to have somebody to join. Like, this is... We can't beat them, so let's jump them. Oh, such bitch assness, man. I have way more respect for those guys for what they've done, but good night.
Speaking of respect, what was it on Friday's show? I think it was Friday. We were talking about the Draymond Green and Karl Anthony Towns situation. Just a quick recap for you. The Warriors played the Knicks at home in the Garden, and Karl Anthony Towns was not present that game. Draymond did what he normally does, took to his podcast, and he was saying he heard that Cat was ducking smoke, yada, yada, yada. In turn, he found out that Karl Anthony Towns' girlfriend, Jordan Woods, her aunt died of cancer, and that's why he wasn't at the game. And
so it wasn't a friend, it was the aunt.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, you gotta go. Yeah. All right, yeah, you gotta go. Friend, nah, you gotta go for the auntie. You gotta go for family.
And this was Draymond Green hearing about the situation involving Cat, and this was his response. Let us know what y'all think in the chat.
Did you see any reaction today to your comments about Cat?
No,
And are you aware of what the circumstances were in
no,
absence?
no. What's the circumstance?
Apparently, he said he was at a funeral for a family friend.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. But my comments that I made was what I heard was this. And that's what I heard. So I do, send my well wishes to him and his family. None of us, it's inevitable. We all experience death in one way or another, and we'll all experience it in the same way one day. So it's unfortunate. You never wish that on anybody, but the Draymond Green show with Baron Davis must go on. So
He's just that. You
I
know what?
Wish him well and wish their family well and grieving. Because we all go through that, and it's never easy for anyone. But the Draymond Green show with Baron Davis will go on.
I really, I'm not gonna hold you. I kind of like that. I really do wish you would have just said I was wrong.
Yeah, that's the only part. Just like I was wrong. Not what I heard.
Like, yeah, man, I heard something different, man. I wish I would have probably pulled back a little bit and waited, but the Draymond Green and Baron Davis show must go on. But at the end of the day, he's not apologizing. All of our greats have a little bit of crazy to them. And again, I quote this great a lot in my life. Do never fix your lips like collagen to say something where you're going to end up apologizing. Unless you really are sorry. Because I don't like it. This is why I respect it. I don't like apologies. Because most apologies aren't true. You're apologizing because you got caught. Like, the best apology is change behavior, and it takes time. And you may be aware that you hurt that person, but that still does absolutely fucking nothing for the situation. But like Draymond didn't even recognize. That's how I know apology would be fake. Didn't even recognize where he might have been wrong on that. Right. And I'm okay with that. Stay in your lane, keep the energy. Now, when Cat sees you courtside and has something to say with you, which I don't think he will because he's just with Jordan. It's not a wife yet. But, just now, I don't know, man. But then again, Jordan might got that snapper that might make you go out there and lose your mind for a little bit. Because one thing we do know that Draymond don't mind doing is throwing hands. And feet. And elbows and grabbing nuts and doing all that kind of weird not Charles Barkley. What do you call that shit? He used to do the Dennis Rodman shit. He was Dennis Rodman, but not as good.
I mean, he did put out fake information, and then he gets to hide behind the fact that I'm not a journalist while also maintaining a platform that's going to get more views than any journalism entity. Anyway, so it's
he got what he needed to get. I would have just simply said, players fuck up. Right. I heard wrong. Sorry for your loss. He put it on the sources, really. Which is fine, but I'm just saying, really, to be honest with you, he what I said was I said what I said. I was saying the same thing. Draymond, he was catty. He was being catty, and that's the truth of it. So, like,
all right, we got to get 2 more quick videos, and then we're going to wrap up the show right here. So, my Twitter wasn't loading, so we didn't get the full backstory, the full response by this WNBA player. She was recently on her podcast with Dejanay Carrington, another WNBA player and unrivaled player. A lot of people have misconstrued her words. By her, I mean Angel Reese, especially regarding the pay and the situation with the WNBA. So a lot of people misconstrued her words by saying if they don't get paid more money, then she will sit out. And then a lot of people took that and compared it to the NBA. If we don't get what the NBA players are making, we're going to sit out. But what she was reiterating was that if we don't get more money, not comparing themselves to the NBA, then we will sit out. And there's a funny video online because the Twitter trolls are trolling. So right after she said that, people were kind of skeptical to buy some Chicago Sky tickets, buy some Chicago Sky jerseys, because I don't know if they're gonna want to buy the product when it's stepped on like this.
Yeah, baby got too many bad clips out there to be talking greasy, but she got a point, but same time she doesn't have a point. And then she went and grabbed her rebound after she hit the back of the. That's out of bounds either way. Angel is fine for her opinion that she had. Angel's going to be okay. I think she asked to be in the room for the CBA negotiations on her podcast. And I actually do think that some of these younger women do need to be on this. But I also think that women in general, in their quest to make sure that they're fairly compensated, not paid the same, that should never be, because I don't actually want to be paid the same as I would not. That is too low of a standard. Because what if the WNBA gets bigger than the NBA? You've been fighting for 30 years to get paid the same when you should be being paid more. But we've talked about this numerous times on this show throughout the years about what place the WNBA is in comparison to the NBA. They're in the beginning of the Magic Bird era. So the 80s is really when NBA, late 70s, early 80s, is when the NBA really started to become magical. And in a few years, you're going to have your version of MJ and Juju. You're going to have more eyes in the women's back because of one and done and now transfer portal. The women's game doesn't have that. So you're having more developed players come out from staying 3 to 4 years. More people are going to be more interested in what you've got going, especially as we're starting to get the ones that don't look like men. Starting to get more women look like. But the play's got to get a little bit better. But I do think it's coming for you. And I think you just got to be careful how you word it, because here's what's going to happen. If you strike, you'll lose all your momentum. Like, you have to have a product that people feel like they cannot go without watching. And what the NBA and what the NFL, and the reason why NBA, NFL, really the NFL won't let it go to a strike is because they know they figured out how to kind of monetize a full calendar year. Jaden, you've been with us since August, right? Did you feel more busy in the fall or in this past month than you've ever been working this show? Just in general, all of the stuff that we do with the Sportsnet.
Yeah, this past February.
And we still have pro days in March. You have the draft in April. You have OTAs in May. You have June off, and then July and then most of June off, most of July. Training camp starts the end of July. The NFL has figured out a way to monetize the entire process. So if they strike, it doesn't just fuck up the NFL, the money in the fall, it fucks up the money which is when the NFL network really thrives. So if right now they strike, who the fuck cares? And I mean this lovingly. I'm just saying, continue to make people like what you're bringing in a product and then strike after that. That's all I'm saying. Right now, if you strike, you're going to lose all the momentum that you have. And I think the game is any male who says that women's like, I will watch women. This will be my third year watching the women's March Madness. I don't give a fuck about men's March Madness, except for Cooper. I might watch Cooper. If Florida State makes it, I'll watch it. But but if it's on, I'll watch it. But I actually want to see Juju hoop. I want to see the Notre Dame coach. I think they should spotlight. I think if a team hires the Notre Dame coach, watch the rankings go through the ratings go through the roofs. That'd be fine. But yeah, it's just some things I just think strategically speaking, they should go talk to others and figure out the best way to go about it.
All right, we got one last video to talk about on this show before we leave you all today. So just a little background right quick. At the Virginia High School League Class 3 Indoor State Championship held at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, a shocking incident unfolded when a Kaylin Tucker, a junior runner from Brookville High School, was intensely struck in the head with a baton by an opponent during the 4x200 relay race. This assault led to Tucker suffering a concussion and a possible skull fracture. When we got to the curve, she kept bumping me in my arm, and when we got off the curve, I finally passed her, and that was when she hit me with the baton, Tucker said. The girl's mother said neither the runner nor the coach apologized for the incident. So let us know what y'all think in the chat.
Hey, bro. Ain't no way that was an accident.
She got the shit out of her, dog.
Ooh, Jesus. That's not funny. She said she got a concussion.
Probably because of the way she hit the track afterwards, but technically it wasn't the force of the baton. So batons are like heavy, like light aluminum, so it's not like. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't believe the concussion part. I think people be capping to try to like garner more sympathy, or something. Like, I don't know exactly what'll happen, but they're gonna do something. But like, caught her right in the back of that neck. That was very. What makes it funny. What's wild is because the girl comes on there, she's in tears saying that's not like me, that's not what I meant, and blah blah blah. She's apologized now. Like, she didn't even stop to like see if she was all right. Like, you're gonna get DQ'd for that, and because you dropped the baton anyway. Did she drop her baton, or she hit her so hard that she made the girl drop her baton? Oh yeah. They're not heavy, dog.
She probably had a soft spot in her head.
I mean, she caught her right there in the neck. I mean, that's crazy. Just the funny part is I have a friend of the show that has something that actually, this isn't violent. That was bad. It's very unsportsmanlike. Should not have happened. But I have a friend who actually started a brawl at a track meet. Yeah, while running. This man's a super world-class athlete, man. Nobody, like, one thing, he like Kevin Gates, he don't get tired. Friend of the show. Luckily, his son could do no worse at his alma mater than he ever did. But like, probably be hard for him to get better too. But like, this motherfucker caused the whole brawl at the ACC championship, ACC indoor championships. Like, did you have the video for that? Did you find it or no?
No.
Okay, well, never mind. We'll have to, if we clip this, we're definitely going to talk about Crow. And Crow shoved the motherfucker into the pit. Like, the motherfucker ran, like the kid kept messing with him, and he flipped him. And he's like, man, it wasn't even that big. I said, bro, you are 6'3", 200 pounds. And you forearm shiver the dude who's like 5'8", 160 at full speed. Of course they're going to fly. And then there was everybody, Clemson guys got booked, Florida State guys got booked. So much so that it took years that Florida State could not visit Clemson in track, and Clemson could not visit Florida State in track. At track meets, like, so it was wild, but yeah, track specific. We couldn't. It don't matter if a fight happens in football. Fights happen in football. I really think if fights happen in hockey every game, and nobody gets crazy about it. sanction, let fighting. I think if fighting was like you put him in like a penalty box or something, 2 15-yard penalties, like take him off for a couple, take him off for a drive. It happens in lacrosse. Like just sometimes you gotta let a nigga know. You got on site right then that this is not going to be tolerated. It would probably add more to the game. But oh man, that'll make the women's game go so much better. Especially when the girl kept hip checking Angel Reese. If Angel would have been able to give her a 2-piece spicy with a biscuit and no soda, oh man, that would have been crazy. No Bev, that'd have been amazing to see. But anyways, man, appreciate everybody for coming on here on this show, bearing with us through technical difficulties that Elon Musk put us on. Make sure you go like the YouTube channel, Den Media Group. Like the show, share the show. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 9:30-ish. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday. Tons of content that's being put out there. A lot of stuff going on in the world. We want to just be able to be your source of pseudo unbiased sports media, sports and entertainment. Join the conversation. Let's talk shit about people in a safe environment. Until then, see you guys next time.